Yeah, stream again. This is going to be what if Luffy was trained by Shanks, part 14, I believe this would be. And we last left off with Punk Hazard happening, but with Crocus, Kid, Law, Bullet, and Luffy. And if you guys don't remember, Luffy broke Bullet out of Impel Down after Rayleigh was captured. So, yeah. So, after Luffy just gets Caesar will just ask what they want until Luffy will then request Caesar hand over all the sad he has. And Bullet killed Virgo by accident, by the way. Virgo's dead. Well, he isn't canon because he was caught in the poison gas, but yeah. But Caesar will be confused when he asks for all the sad. So Kid in Law, until Luffy says we're going to examine sad, make our own artificial devil fruits, but they work like real devil fruits. Then we're going to find an antidote for anyone that ate sads. Law kind of likes that idea as it's partially able to take down, Kaido. And so Luffy just hands over his transponder snail to Law and tell some of our new Grand Fleet members are still in Dressrosa to take away all the smile and bring it to Punk Hazard with Caesar. And Law will do so as Luffy takes all the kids onto his ship as he calls Buggy on another transponder snail. Buggy will arrive and see all the kids, and Buggy will take them onto a ship. And the only reason I'm giving Buggy the kid is that Buggy has his own kid, and it's kind of like circus theme on his ship, so Luffy thinks he'll enjoy it most. Then Luffy will actually just have, I'm pretty sure I said some people are in Wano. So Luffy will actually take the transponder snail away from Law once Buggy gets there. So after about 2 days. Luffy will then just tell all of the Grand Fleet members after they get the sad to Punk Hazard and everything. After they get all that, he tells all of his subordinates head to Whole Cake Island. But he has his main crew, the crew he established, like Law, Kid and Law are staying with him. Zoro, Nami, Chopper, Robin, Usopp, Nami, Brook, Frankie, and Jinbei. Basically, the main crew that Luffy has on board his ship at all times are told to head to Wano. They will do so, and Luffy says, "Until we beat Big Mom, stay in Wano." And because that's part of Luffy's goal, taking down all the Yonko. Big Mom's first. And Luffy he knows Ace is probably not going to really relinquish his title of Yonko. So Luffy might have to beat Ace into submission. As Ace actually on Luffy's level of combat. Ace is by far the strongest Yonko to ever exist. Not to mention he has a right-hand man that's also a hockey master with a double fruit. So yeah. So Ace has 90% of the Whitebeard pirates with him. So he has well over a few hundred people besides his own basic crew. That's because only the commanders retired. Like 14 in divisions, or 16, 14 or 15, I forgot. But all the division commanders retired with Whitebeard. Marco lives on Fishman Island with Whitebeard. Okay, but once Luffy's whole Grand Fleet except his crew get to Whole Cake Island, Big Mom is met with a gigantic fleet of pirates. And she is terrified once she sees who's leading them, as Luffy has a very high bounty. So, yeah. Because Luffy's bounty isn't near her range. He's not in the 4 billions, but he's in the billions. And his Grand Fleet are earning bounties of hundreds of millions, as they don't know. Luffy would be in Big Mom's bounty area. He'd probably tie with her bounty if they knew who was taking down what, or know who they work for. Right now, Buggy actually got a bounty increase for taking down Moria's crew, so Buggy's at a bounty of 700 million. So Buggy, he's climbing up the ranks. Bullet's bounty restarted, so Bullet now has a bounty of 1 billion. Because I don't know his original bounty, so I'm going to say it's 1 billion right now, as he is now active again. So, So yeah, Bullet's there. Once Big Mom also see Bullet with him and Crocus, she's instantly gonna know. Like she's gonna tell all of her commanders, this war is gonna be hard. Like she tells everyone retreat their island, like have their islands leave. Big Mom will have an announcement to Luffy saying, "Wait for my civilians to evacuate." Luffy will agree to this and wait a few hours, and Big Mom will clarify all of our islands are evacuated. So only the pirate crews, counting her kids. So Big Mom has a few hundred people with her. Luffy has around 1,000 in total. Because he has some of them still arriving, as Luffy does have well over 10,000 people. Luffy has the biggest pirate fleet to ever exist right now. So yeah. So like his pirate fleet outnumbers Kaido, but he knows he can't just beat Kaido with numbers. Well, probably if he gets a few, Kaido's dragon form will take down a few 100,000. Luffy will just tell. Well, he actually has Buggy's crew leave as they have kids on board. Buggy will do so, and the rest of the crews are just ready to fight. So, Luffy then jumps as far as he can, and he reaches one of the islands. And to his luck, he is met with not Katakuri, but with the Wicked Sweet Commander. I believe that would be Snack. And if you remember, Kid actually beat Snack, I'm pretty sure. And I'm pretty sure Orochi did as well. But once Kid will see its Snack, Luffy just sees a giant metal, he sees a giant shadow come above him. And when Kid beats Snack, Kid did not have Haki, but now he does. So Kid will actually coat his metal hand in black Haki as he just kills Snack instantly by landing on him, while punching, then bolting off his giant fist. And Luffy's gonna kind of chuckle, saying, "As your captain, I should be mad, but I'm gonna let that pass." And then he sees like a whole pirate crew of a few hundred people. Then he sees a blue aura surround him. Not aura, just something blue go past him. Then they're slicing to pieces. That would be Law using tons of slashes in a room. Then Luffy just he's gonna point his hand forward towards Big Mom and say, "Take them out." As cannons start firing, Bullet and Crocus move as they start taking down some of the commanders. Luffy jumps up to meet Snack. Not Snack. He jumps up to see Smoothie, Katakuri, and Paraspero. And Bullet will land in front of Luffy. As he points at Smoothie and says, "I'll take her down." Crocus will then just say, "No, you're a little brutal. I'll take care of her. You take care of the guy with the giant lollipop." Paraspero will then just throw his lollipop at Bullet to see Bullet just flicks into pieces. And yeah. Bullet then starts summoning a lot of the mechanics from the islands, as Cracker will also jump towards Bullet. Kid, not having any of Cracker's BS, just grabs him with a giant metal fist again and says, "I'll hold this guy in place." As Lodge says, "Just let us take care of our kids. You guys can take care of these guys." As Katakuri can instantly just feel he's being outmatched by Luffy. Luffy then coats his arms in gear second. As Katakuri will try doing the rocket mochi thing. Luffy punches them all away with just using his basic strength mixed with gear second. At one point, Luffy he's punching away armament Haki infused jets. And that's just Luffy's physical strength alone, so you can tell that he's probably going to beat Katakuri. Katakuri makes a giant one as Luffy just says, "Now I know this is going to be hard." As he inflates his hand, puts it in gear second, and just instantly catches it, and he's just holding it in place. Katakuri will just see the armament Haki's cracking. It's because Luffy's using red Haki in his fingertips. Luffy then just ends up just throwing it into the air, and it goes out of Katakuri's reach or control as it disperses. And by the way, Luffy is not a awakened Devil Fruit. He's this powerful, but not awakened. And Crocus and Law instantly look at Luffy after they see him use that move, and they say, "We need to treat you after that one move." So Luffy can kind of feel that his bones broke after using that one move. So Luffy can just says, "Hey, Crocus, I can tell you're toying with Smoothie. So let me take her down. Oh, Law, you're not really busy. Treat my arm." As Luffy just kicks Smoothie off the Whole Cake Island building. Like he kicks it off the main one. That's what Big Mom, also Katakuri and Sparrow and Smoothie are on. Luffy just jet kicks her off. Law just agrees to bandage up Luffy's arm as he kind of just repairs some of the bone. Once Law will do that, Luffy just says, "Alright, well, Smoothie's climbing back up, Crocus, you good?" As Crocus just says, "Yeah," as he's just barely dodging Katakuri's attacks. Luffy then says, "Alright, we can go back to our original fighters, or opponents." As Luffy will just jump towards Katakuri and try to kick him in the head. His kick will miss, but yeah. And Luffy's kind of confused on how Katakuri is dodging it. And Luffy's like, if his observation hockey is on my level, well, Luffy just instantly sees Katakuri's using observation, and it's far above his. Well, not far above, just above. And Luffy then just, him and Katakuri's kicks collide, as Luffy just says, "My guess is your observation can see the future as well." And Katakuri will then say, "Yes." Luffy says, "I can see 5 seconds. How about you?" And Katakuri says 10. As he grabs Luffy's head and slams it. And Katakuri then realize Luffy's holding back Katakuri's fist as infused with blue hockey with just basic black. And Luffy's like just pushing Katakuri away. And this time, well, I'm pretty sure in canon, Katakuri didn't actually be beaten by Luffy. I'm pretty sure Katakuri was just tired of fighting. And Katakuri just collapsed. And not to mention, he kind of stabbed himself as well. Pretty sure if Katakuri didn't stab himself, he would have beaten Luffy. But yeah. But that's when, like, Little Girl will still try to shoot Luffy with a dart. Luffy, because using his sight, can kind of, 5 seconds he didn't see what hit him. So with his last two, he actually used observation within his observation. He found the little dart, and a second before it hit him, he coated his leg in black hockey, and it got flicked away. The girl's just scared as Luffy just uses Conquerors and knocks her out. And Luffy was kind of angry. Someone was trying to sabotage his fun fight. He was happy to fight. So Luffy just used most of his Conquerors by accident and knocked out a large percentage of Big Mom's kids. Over 88, he's fighting. Snack was beaten. Cracker was kind of just passed out due to being crushed by Kid. That's 2 down. Smoothie, Sparrow, and Katakuri. So about 83 of Big Mom's kids are still awake, and there's about 60 left after Luffy just exerts all of his Conquerors. And if you guys know what that means, it means 20 of them could not hang with Luffy. A good 60 have the metal to hang with Luffy. Or they have the guts to withstand him. But what Luffy didn't notice, about 50 of them are on their knees, as they're just scared of what Luffy just exerted. They'll fight with him, but they're scared of him. They'll fight with fear. Luffy will then just use his jet Gatling on Katakuri. Katakuri can barely just dodge the hits or block them. As Katakuri can see through that, it's just two fists hitting him at fast paces. Katakuri truly feels like he's fighting multiple hands. And then Luffy will just then infuse red hockey into them, as Katakuri can no longer dodge and has to defend. Katakuri then pulls out the staff and starts stabbing at Luffy's fists. At one point, Katakuri thinks she's about to stab through one of Luffy's hands as the armament wears down. In reality, Luffy just dispersed the hockey, grabbed the staff, and stabbed Katakuri in the kneecap with it. Katakuri, being wounded, just instantly is met with a knee to the nose. Or what Luffy will think will land, but Katakuri narrowly dodges it. Once Katakuri does, Luffy extends his arms to a point where Katakuri can't dodge any of them. And Katakuri does know Luffy is too much of an armament master to just let Luffy to just phase through Luffy with his mochi. Luffy will then grab Katakuri Katakuri is trying to just turn into mochi, but it will not work. Luffy just then jumps as high as he can and then slams Katakuri through whole cake. And everyone is in horror as Katakuri is not getting up. Katakuri was knocked out by Luffy. And Big Mom is especially scared as Luffy was just playing with Katakuri the whole time. She knew it. So then Luffy look at Big Mom saying, now I know this is going to be a good fight. As Bullet is just like holding Paros' head down with one finger. And Big Mom will just see that Paros is like struggling, but she knows he's going to be beaten again. And that was because Paros was beaten with 2 punches. And Bullet is at the point where he can just use his kaiju form. He's just not going to. So I figured that. Crocus is kind of just blocking Smoothie's hits until she leaves him open. Well, she leaves her stomach open, and Crocus will hit her in the gut with a armament in hockey fused punch. So Smoothie passes out as Kid jumps up with blood while he's covered in blood. And Luffy says, "How much of that is yours?" As Kid says, I got slashed like twice, so not a good percentage of it. Like a good 20% of it is mine. As Luffy then just like he'll inhale as much as he can to the point where his stomach inflates and blows all the blood off of Kid. And Luffy will see the slashes and say, "No, about a good 8% of that was yours. Those are very minuscule." Law jumps up, completely fine. And that's when Luffy just then see, none of his major fighters were taken out. None of them. Also, Bartolomeo is on his way to Wano, as he considers himself one of Luffy's main forces. But then his force from Wano will arrive, as Big Mom's kids are easily overwhelmed and beaten. And now Big Mom will realize, it's her, her hat, it's her bicorn hat, this, a miniature sun, and a cloud versus a few thousand people. As Luffy will then inflate to Gear 4th and say, "I'm going to enjoy this," as he goes Snake Man. And at this point, Luffy has enough power over his 4th gear to the point where he can actually walk, not bounce. Well, he bounces a little bit, 1 step, he can take 2 steps and bounce a little bit. He's on the ground right now and just smiling. Bullet will then just go to the point where he'll infuse. I'm saying he's not gonna use kaiju form, but he's gonna use some metal armor infused with blue hockey, obviously. Kid will use some magnetic forces and use some armor that he infuses with black hockey. Law makes a circular dome around them with room, and he coats his sword in black hockey as well. They'll jump at Big Mom as Big Mom just feels multiple fists just hit her at once, and they're all Luffy's. And she sees just there's slash marks on her now, as Luffy was using his knuckles mainly, and they were just slashing at Big Mom, not meant for hits. Then she feels her bicorn hat about to just jump at them just with pure will, until it is sliced to pieces by Law. Crocus is watching. He's not gonna fight. He's like, no, I'm a little too old for this. As he just sits down and watches. Napoleon was her hat's name, I believe. Zeus will then just try to go for the obvious and go for Kid. Kid is not taken out, but he does feel he feels electrified. He says, "You damn cloud." As Kid will make 2 giant magnetic arms with the assistance of Bullet. As Kid kind of just slams both of them into Zeus and starts compressing him into one small cloud. And now it's Bullet versus the sun. As Bullet kind of just jumps into it, coats his whole body in blue hockey, as he just uses his maximum of conquers, the point where it actually ends up doing physical damage to the sun, the one few million miles away, but to the point where where Big Mom's son is dispersed. Big Mom just realizes two of her homies were killed, one of them is being held captive. And then Big Mom just feels a different change of power as Luffy goes Tank Man. And that's when she feels a giant just punch to her spine. She just feels it cracking slowly. She feels a punch from Bullet as he punched her in the head. Haruka then says, I guess I can make some room for this. As he jumps and then kicks Big Mom in the nose. She's flung back up, and then she feels a giant slash appear on her stomach, as Law doesn't want to make this easy by slashing her in half. And he wants her to feel it. Luffy will then use King Kong organ and start pounding her into the ground. When he stops, he deflates, kind of flies everywhere until Bullet catches him. Bullet then sees, Luffy's kind of breathing heavily, but Luffy can still walk and everything. He just can't use his Devil Fruit or Haki for a while. I'm breathing heavily. But Luffy does have insane brute strength. You cannot forget that. And Big Mom thinks, he's probably out of energy. Until Luffy picks up Big Mom and throws her into the water. And Big Mom just feels like her life fading away as she's thrown. Katakuri, using what energy he has left after he woke up, catches her and throws her back at Luffy. Big Mom is actually kind of angry, wanting to die instead of fight Luffy. She says, Katakuri, you damn idiot. And then she just feels that, Luffy just grabbed her butt, like he grabbed her dress and just slammed her into the ground. Saying, you're not worth it. And Morgan, Big News Morgan was watching this. He's like, did Luffy just take her down? And Luffy did just indeed take her down. Morgan instantly starts flocking away. And Luffy just grabs, he doesn't grab Morgan actually. I'm saying Morgan actually stays if she sees Luffy walking down in Katakuri. And Luffy took down half of the chateau, the roof of the chateau when he broke Katakuri, when he beat Katakuri. Luffy just then throws Katakuri back up to the roof, then jumps to the roof himself. He talks to Katakuri for a little bit. He's like, hey, I can tell you're a little bit better than your mother, so join me. Katakuri says, what's your goals? Luffy says, part of it was to take on the warlords, but I just finished doing that. My next goal is probably going to be the Yonko. My brother and probably my master are going to be involved in this. And he's like, your master and your brother? He says, oh yeah, Fire Fist Ace and Red-Haired Shanks. And Katakuri says, it's going to be hard, but fine. And Luffy is considered first Morgan had heard this, and Katakuri is now one of Luffy's main crewmates. So yeah, Luffy says, alright, well, I have a feeling that I'm gonna need to pay a visit to someone first, but I think we should settle Wano. Just because Katakuri just his eyes widen and say, Kaido. Luffy says, oh, you're aware. But first, let's head to Zou. That's a quick stop. And this time, there's Luffy that's when Law says, why didn't we stop there first? Luffy says, I didn't want a pit stop to fight the Yonko. I just wanted to go straight there and fight. And Law slaps back at Luffy's head, and he says, oh, damn it. What do you want us to do with the rest of our guys? Luffy says, well, the Yonko might be too big of a fish for them. As the 6,000 people that are there, no one's too big for us. As some of them are Buggy's men, some of them are his basic crew. He then just sighs and says, if you're with Buggy's crew, go away. And a good 80% of them go. Well, about a good half go away. But it's about 2,000 go away. So but it's 4,000 left. And then that's when his new Grand Fleet is like, what do you want us to do here then? Luffy says, well, first things first. Before the Marines get here, tie them all up. And that's when Katakuri then says, if anyone's below the age of 15, let them stay, or at least let them live. And everyone will agree they're under 15, they're good. So yeah, they'll do so. And Luffy, Katakuri, Law, Law's crew, Kid's crew, Luffy, Crocus, and Bullet then leave. They get to Zoe. Listen, well, before they leave, Kinemon will then approach them with Conjuro. He's like, hey, we need help. As I will explain the Odin situation and everything. He says, Odin, I've heard a few tales about him from Shanks. Kinemon says, I see. Well, then could you help us? Ethan says, fine. I guess I'll help you. So I'm pretty sure Kinemon was on Punk Hazard. Some say Kinemon kind of followed them back on like Buggy's ship, but when Buggy had to leave on Luffy's orders, he snuck onto like one of the staying ships. So yeah, there we have Kinemon. So yeah. Then Conjuro is going to be there after being rescued. And Luffy is like, alright then. And Luffy did actually evolve his observation during the fight to kind of get on Katakuri's level, so Katakuri can dodge or deflect. Well, dodge or be defensive. And he can now do the 10-second thing. So it's very easy for him. Now the next step would be Luffy to learn emotions like Poseidon's wife. So on Zoe, and guessing Conjuro says, I can draw us a dragon to get up there. Then he sees Crocus on Killer. He sees Crocus on Bullet's back. He sees Kid climbing, and he sees Law on Luffy's shoulders. That's when Killer just says, yeah, I guess I'll climb too. As Killer jumps on and starts climbing. And Luffy told them, not to use knives to climb, as this is a living creature. Or the creature has unbelievably tough skin and will probably break your blade. And if you infuse it with hockey, you're definitely going to hurt it too much. So they're all climbing, as like Kinemon says, what? And Conjuro's like, I don't know if we should climb. As Kinemon says, how about this? I'll carry you on my back, and if I get tired while climbing, you draw a dragon and we'll ride the other half up. And when I fast forward about 4 hours, Luffy, Bullet, and Kid, Killer, and Law have all been waiting. Well, they just got there after about the 4-hour mark. I'm gonna say got there at 2 hours. Then Luffy looks down to see Kinemon and Conjuro are at the halfway mark. So 2 hours, Luffy, Bullet, Crocus, Kid, Law, Killer, and like Law's crew all made it up after 2 hours. And he sees Kinemon and Conjuro like a quarter of the way up. Towards later the halfway point. And Luffy says, Conjuro, make a dragon to carry up Kinemon. New. Conjuro will do so as about an hour later they're at the top. Start walking around to be met with Minks, until Luffy just says, we're not here to fight, we're actually kind of here to recruit some help. That's when they see Jack. Jack the Drought is there trying to fight the Minks, and they thought Luffy's crew was a part of them. And when Jack's crew starts trying to question Luffy just instantly uses Conquerors, knocks them out. Luffy says, if we thought where they were with those idiots, you guys would be dead now. Or if we were. So Luffy is kind of walking around Zoe, fighting Jack's crew. And when he meets Jack, Jackson kind of just tried to beat Luffy in his mammoth form, until Luffy just grabs Jack's tusk and just throws him off Zoe. And all the Minks were kind of impressed that Luffy was able to lift a mammoth. And yeah. After he was able to do that, they all start talking, and Luffy will then explain, they're going to Wano to beat Kaido. And they were kind of okay with that until Luffy then says, I already have a few hundred people heading there. As Luffy had called some of the people, most of his grand fleet to go to Wano. But he told them enter slowly, so it's not suspicious. So, yeah. Luffy then says, a few hundred people should have made it there by now, but a few thousand are going to be there in total when I get there. The Minks are kind of impressed knowing that Luffy has that many people. That's when Pedro, Carrot, Linda, I believe her name was. I forgot her name. Like the dog mink. Basically everyone that Luffy had brought to Dressrosa, or that's there in Wano right now, are gonna come with Luffy. This one Luffy says, yeah, about that, we're gonna have to jump back down. And they're like, why? Luffy then points to like a giant ship down there saying, I'm not climbing down. And they're like, you climbed up here, didn't it? You should have some feat of strength. Luffy says, yeah, and it's been 30, it's been around 2 hours. It's been like 4 hours. I'm still tired. I had to climb a few thousand feet in the air. I still give him the benefit of the doubt. And I just forgot Momonosuke was there too. I'm gonna say Momo's been with them the whole time. Luffy knew. Momonosuke's just been quiet. So yeah. This one Momo says about Wano. I am this person's son. I'm Odin's son. Luffy then says, you should have spoken up a lot sooner. As he grabs Momo, Kondro, Kinemon, and Crocus, and jumps off the Zou. The Minks will then jump off with Luffy. And once Luffy lands, he does feel like a slight strain, but he grabs everyone else that jumped off. Only person that he didn't need to grab was Kid, Killer, and Bullet. He did have to catch Crocus. So once Luffy was like, all right, we're all here, they leave, and they get to Wano. Use the same strategy they did in the first place. And when they get in, it's been about I'm gonna say it's been 1 week, and after that week is up, they're kind of just like, wait, so what's the first step? And then they see King. So I believe King is the name of the guy that can turn into a pterodactyl. I believe it's a pterodactyl. And Luffy will see King, and he says, Law, do you think you can beat him? Law just says, oh, hell no, I cannot beat that. And Luffy then says, damn it. As he jumps at King, then he just lifts it, he cuts his leg in gear second, and it moves as fast as he can. This one he just slams it back down, using Jet Battle Axe, and him and his foot and King's sword collide, and he's doing black hockey while King is as well. V breaks. No, him say he flings King's sword in the water, as his foot sends King into a rock. And King is yapping for air as Luffy knocked the wind out of him. Luffy says, I wasn't even going all out. As he pulls his foot back. And I was impressed that he took down one of Kaido's right-hand men that easily. That's when the numbers appear. If you guys don't know what the numbers are, they are numbered giants, or numbered artificial giants. And I don't know how strong they are, as they've only been introduced in the manga so far, I believe. So, I'm sorry if that. I'm sorry. This is also a spoiler, I guess. So, but Luffy and the numbers look at each other as Kaido had called them in, noticing how suspicious they are. Then he read the article on how many people showed up to Big Mom's island. Kaido, he's not too dumb, but he's not too smart. He using the brains he has, he put together Luffy's plan: take down the Yonko. So he can instantly assume all the people coming into Wano were there to take him down. So he imprisoned some of them. I'm gonna say he imprisoned around. I'm gonna say 3,000 people arrived. He imprisoned 2,000. So yeah. You can't find out every new citizen. So, yeah. Luffy, after finding out, everyone that's there, well, we'll say like when he gets to Wano, he'll find out, everyone's been arrested. His first place he wants to look is the first thing he wants to look for is Frankie. That's the first person he wants to look for. And when he finds Frankie, Frankie's just being a builder, doing his thing. And Frankie is impressed when he sees, Luffy, Law, Kid, Killer, Kinemon, Kanjuro, basically everyone that I've said before, and Wano attire. And everyone is kind of just scared to see Bullet. And Luffy then starts talking, what's happened while I've been gone. Frankie's boss will appear saying, "Hey Frankie, who's this?" I was not any newcomers, then we have to alert Orochi. Luffy then just grabs Frankie's boss and says, "First, you're not alerting Orochi of anything. Second, yes, we are newcomers. Third, we're pirates we're here to take down Kaido." And Frankie's boss was like, "Wait, if you have the strength to do that, I'll gladly cheer you on." Luffy just smiles, drops the guy, and says, "Just finish doing your work." Luffy and Frankie talk for a bit, and Frankie will then say, "Sorry, I have to take a few weeks off." Boss is like, "Frankie, you're my hardest worker. Besides, you're gonna take down Kaido. It's okay." So, once Luffy finds Frankie, he'll find Sanji. Then he finds everyone else, basically. Like, anyone that's part of his Grand Fleet in Wano, he finds them. That's because they all have Straw Hat tattoos. Like, Luffy forced, at least some form of a Straw Hat tattoo onto them. Or they have Buggy tattoos. Because besides Luffy, Buggy has one of the biggest fleets to ever exist. This Buggy had a fleet on Whitebeard's level, but made up of small-time pirates, as no one was as strong as Whitebeard's crew. So, I'm going to give, a small list of the biggest fleets so far. Luffy being at the top of with 10,000. Then we have Kaido with around 4,000, Whitebeard. Then we have Buggy. Then we have Big Mom. So Luffy, Kaido, Ace, Buggy, Big Mom. Buggy had a bigger fleet than Big Mom. But the only small-time pirates with bounties that, like the highest bounties of Buggy's Grand Fleets are on his ship. Like, if your bounty goes past 40 million, you're allowed to be on my ship. Actually, you guys remember like the fake Straw Hats? How they tried to gather a few hundred members? Basically, everyone that was there had a bounty of at least 75 million. So, yeah, everyone there is basically on Buggy's Grand Fleet. So, yeah. So, if you have a bounty of at least 60 million, you're allowed to be on Buggy's main ship. Buggy has around 40 people on his main deck. But Buggy has a Grand Fleet of a few thousand people. Buggy has around 2,000 people in his Grand Fleet. So, yeah. So, mainly only Buggy's Grand Fleet survived, as Kaido didn't see any threat in them. But Buggy, he definitely sees a threat in him, as he knows he's one of the direct workers of Luffy. Buggy was not captured though, as Buggy took his hair dye out and everything. Also, fun fact: Buggy dyes his hair, so Buggy's hair is blue. So yeah, Luffy's wandering around Wano, and he will find Zoro just wandering. He did find Sanji, just selling soba, and he sees Yasui with him. And Kanjuro instantly recognizes Yasui as I forgot Yasui's identity, I guess, when he worked for Odin. I believe Yasu was like one of the 9 scabbards. I forgot if he was or not. Now we need to find the 9 scabbards. Once Luffy and his crew gets to Wano, they end up looking for the 9 scabbards on request of Kanjuro, Raizo, and Kinemon. They did run into Zoro, still being followed by Yasu, and Kanjuro, Kinemon, and Raizo are looking closely at him, so they're all wearing disguises, and they instantly just yell, "Hedgehog!" And Yasu instantly just slaps them both and says, I may look goofy, but I'm still your master. And they will respect that as they instantly apologize. So yeah, Yasuo's not is not a scabbard, but you know he's still cool. Also, Dog Storm is still there, and so is Neko Momushi. And Yasu instantly starts telling them all the information he has. And one of the piece of info he has is Kawatsu is in prison. And this would lead to 1, 2, 3, 4, 4. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 of the 9 scabbards are with Luffy now. And Yasu is not a scabbard, but he did raise some of them, or at least help them be raised properly. So yeah, Luffy will then ask, where, like what prison is Kawatsu in, and Ieyasu will then ask who Luffy is, and then he notices Zoro's just smiling hard, like Zoro has a has a giant grin on his face. He asks, hey Zoro, who's this man? Zoro then says, man, you know how I told you I'm a pirate, and Ieyasu says, don't tell me. And Zoro then says, meet my captain. And Luffy always has like the straw hat over his face, and it kind of creates like a ominous but cool mask like over his eyes. So yeah. And I'm gonna say that like Yasu then says, well, Doji isn't as nice, but I can probably figure out where he's gonna raid next. And Raizo says, wait, raid? And I was gonna make a Raid Shadow Legends joke, but I'm not going to. And Yasu then says, "Oh yeah, he's kind of a bandit now." Kinemon says, "I'm gonna beat sense into him when I see him." They'll go to a village that's not too poor but not too rich, so kind of like an average village, but it's pretty small. They'll wait a few hours, and then that's when Doji or Ashra Doji starts raiding it. Luffy then just jumps in front of them and punches out all his guys. And that's when Doji then sees Kinemon, Yasu, and everyone else with him. So Doji then just sees Kinemon and the other 5 scabbards, the other 4, and he starts talking to them, saying, where the hell have you guys been? It's been years. Momo then appears on Kanjuro's back. No, I'm just saying Kinemon's back. Also, I'm probably going to have to put manga spoilers in the title, but I hope you guys still watch this. But, manga spoiler, Kanjuro is a traitor. But yeah. So, Kinemon is carrying Momo, and Doji is filled with excitement. And, he instantly is like, I'll find, alright, I'll help you guys find the other scabbards. As he then says, alright, well, the man with the straw hat, we're gonna follow him. After Kinemon then tells Doji, this man probably one of the people Odin could not beat besides Kaido and Roger. And Doji instantly starts following Luffy just off of those words. And Luffy is not too bad of a swordsman, he is a very good one. Because remember, he was trained by Dragon as well. And you have to remember that, Doji is, Luffy is not, on a Odin level of swordsmanship, but he's, I'm gonna put him at, I don't know how I should do this. Yeah, he was also trained by Shanks, that would give him swordsmanship skill. I'll give him Zoro before we see him in Zou. Actually, Zoro before we see him in Dressrosa. So, post time skip Zoro, but before Dressrosa. That's actually, I'm pretty sure I did say Luffy's able to hang with Mihawk in this one, so Luffy places easily in the top 5 swordsmen, but he's not in the top 10. Zoro's in the top 7. So, if it came to swordsmanship, Luffy probably hang with Shanks. I'll put it at that. So Luffy's kind of wandering around, and he ends up seeing like the sumo match. Luffy says like, allow me to get in the ring. As he steps up, I'm gonna say Nami and Robin were there as what were they called? Kabuki theater, but oh yeah, I forgot Odin had a guard that was on Whitebeard's crew even after Odin died. I'm gonna say that guy's there. I forgot his name. I'm just cool with that now. Shit. So okay, so Luffy is in Wano, and Izo returned after the Whitebeard Pirates disbanded. And while they're walking towards, Luffy's in the sumo thing. Izo's watching, and he notices Luffy after looking at bounty posters and everything. And from Marineford, he notices Luffy. And he sees some like 5 scabbards behind him. Plus Yasu. Yeah, Yasu's not a scabbard somehow, even though he raised some of them. So, while Izo is noticing this, Izo walks up to them, starts talking, and this one Luffy ends up in the match. The first guy he's up against is the same guy in canon. The guy will kind of I don't know if it's running or just I'm not sure if sumo involves running. I don't know. I'm pretty sure it's like shuffling. Station just walks up to the guy, grabs him by the diaper, and throws him.
What?
I'm talking.
Nigga said diaper. And do you know how to edit? Yeah.
Alright, so Luffy kind of throws the sumo wrestler, and I don't know why, but sumo wrestlers look like they're in giant diapers. I don't know why. Also, if you heard my brother talking, sorry, he's in here. Usually he's not, but pretty sure the last time he was in here was like the Katakuri Deku. But while Luffy just threw the guy, everyone's kind of impressed that someone so skinny threw someone so giant. And yeah. So once Luffy won, Kiku will approach him. And if you guys just don't know, Kiku is a guy. Kiku was known as the beautiful samurai, even though he's a guy. So yeah. Kiku will then go to the scabbards, start talking, after Luffy did not fall for her flirting, or fall for his flirting. And yeah. She's shocked when they tell her or him that Luffy is their leader right now. So yeah. So if you guys don't remember, Zoro beat Mihawk. Zoro's #1 swordsman, and Zoro's far above Odin's swordsmanship skills. So Luffy then says, the scabbards should follow Zoro, not him. And Zoro then says, yeah, but I'm following you, so you're my leader. So Frankie kind of left with Sanji to go find Nami and Robin. Then, after they come back after telling Luffy there's no luck, they see Robin and Nami walking towards Luffy. And my brother is annoying. But alright, so Luffy, he ends up, just being a little kind of annoyed that scabbards won't follow him, but that they won't follow Zoro. But yeah, Nami and Robin approach, they start talking, and yeah. That's when Sanji starts trying to fawn over Robin and Nami. Nami ignores Sanji while she kind of fawns over that, Luffy came back. So Luffy just says, alright, we have to find everyone else. And that's when, they're told that Hiyori, I only know her as Hiyori, but I forgot what else? Oiron was another name, but the Oiron's kind of coming through, which is the most beautiful woman in Wano. So the girl can age things. Shinobu, I believe her name was. Yes, Shinobu. I personally give younger Shinobu a run for money against Hiyori. But they get told that the Oiron's coming through, and once Luffy sees her, he gets another pervy grin as like Robin and Nami know what that grin means, as they kind of guess what Luffy's gonna do to Oiran. So yeah, once the festival's over, Oiran gets like a sneak peek of like the Straw Hats watching her from like one of the alleys, and she sees like 6 scabbards are with him. So yeah, once the festival's over, Oiran just requests a disguise, and Luffy can explain probably tell that she's gonna try to find them. But yeah, so Otoki or Otoko, I believe her name was actually, goes to find and Oiran. She's following her to the scabbards. When she's there, she sees Yasu, her dad. She'll end up running past Hiyori to hug him and everything, and they start talking for a bit, and Hiyori then just resigns as, I'm gonna say that Hiyori kind of fakes her death, and Luffy then takes her. Well, not Luffy. Luffy then takes the fake body, and people instantly assume, sorry if this is like a strong word, or at least gonna get me in trouble on YouTube. It's known as a it's like necrophilia. They assume that Luffy's kind of that once Luffy takes Oiran's body, so they assume Luffy's into that. So they leave, and Luffy is kind of just kind of mad that people think that of him, but he wasn't wearing a straw hat and he's covering his face, so they don't really care. Well, they care because they don't know who took Oiran's body, but Izo kind of laughs at Luffy, saying people in Wano don't really know too much about the outside world, so faking a death in Wano is very uncommon. So they assume you're going to do that. But Luffy then says, "Alright, just get ready to raid Wano's prison." Also, Big Mom was taken to prison, like she was finally taken to Impel Down and sentenced to death. Also, I forgot to mention Katakuri's still with them. Katakuri went off to do his own thing. Someone say Katakuri went to get Kyoshiro. Oh, so yeah. So Katakuri's going to get Kyoshiro. We're going to cut to Katakuri doing that. When Katakuri's walk there, he'll run into Brook. And Katakuri was told, about the main members, and that the biggest one that's going to be easy to look out for is the skeleton with the afro. And Brook's kind of just sitting on a well until someone walks up to him, and Brook's like, "This is a perfect opportunity." And he tries to scare Katakuri. Katakuri then says, "It's not going to work. I'm also a member of the Straw Hat Pirates." And Brook will say, "You're a member of the Grand Fleet, not the crew." And Brook says, "No, I'm not Brook." Katakuri then says, "No, I was recently recruited." He says, "Oh, really? By who?" And Katakuri says, "A guy in the straw hat with a large X on his chest." And Katakuri and Brook then says, "Yep, that sounds like my captain." So, and Brook says, "We're just here to find extra straw hats." And Katakuri then says, "No, probably most of them probably with your captain by now. But I'm here to find Kyoshiro, the boss." And Zoro, I'm gonna say, ended up running after Katakuri because he also wanted to find Brook. So yeah, I'm gonna say Zoro didn't like Luffy just told Zoro to do whatever he wanted. The scabbards aren't gonna follow him. So yeah, Zoro runs off to find Katakuri, finds him with Brook, and they start walking. And this time he sees the guy that steals swords. That guy's gonna try to rush at Zoro, thinking he's not worthy of Ryuma's sword. Zoro pulls out one sword and says, "One sword style, one-sworded onigiri," as he throws 3 fast slashes like that, like a Kizaru speed of slashes. And the guy is instantly just sent flying as Zoro used the blunt side of his sword. At least used the flat side. The guy kind of just sent back, and he's like, "They didn't slash me." And you see Zoro's holding up the flat side of the blade. He's like, "I'm still bleeding. I'm still sliced." And then instantly just knows those slices are just pure brute strength, not skill. And he knows Zoro's a skilled one. Zoro then says, "What do you want?" And that's when the guy will say, "Hey, I collect swords that don't belong in the right hands. Why do you have Ryuma's blade?" Zoro then says, the number one swordsman should have a strong sword. He says, "That's not true. not the number one swordsman. Zoro then says, in the outside world, well, outside of Wano, I'm the number one swordsman to ever exist. And the guy's like, is like, he's heard of Mihawk. He's heard of him. But then he realizes that this guy probably beat Mihawk. So he instantly just lets Zoro keep the blade. He's like, alright, keep it. And I don't know if Zoro has Enma yet, but I'm gonna say Zoro is actually like told where to find Enma. And Katakuri that says, Zoro, you can go find that blade, I'll go find Kyoshiro. And Katakuri's wearing like a mask, like a scarf over his face still. And he does get to Wano, and he does find the, what was it? He does find Kyoshiro. When he walks in, like, guards are trying to beat him up left and right. And they're just horrified when they see that they're not even their hockey's facing Katakuri. As, like, they're still passing through him. One last guy, like, let's say their second strongest in command, tried to jump at Zoro. Not Zoro, they tried to jump at Katakuri. Kyoshiro's just watching from a window until he sees Katakuri grab the guy's head and crushed it. Everyone's horrified as one of the guys was just murdered with his bare hand, by someone else with bare hands. And Katakuri then yells, Kyoshiro, come out here right now before I reveal your secret. Kyoshiro instantly realizes this guy knows he's Denjiro. Manga spoiler. So he'll just jump out the window and say, fine, we'll talk somewhere else. And most people left and didn't hear Katakuri say the secret. Like, well, everyone left after the guy was killed to go find royal guards. So like the bandits are all, like, Kyoshiro's men are just like, boss Kyoshiro, just leave, we'll handle him. Kyoshiro just says, don't worry about it. As in a flash, they're all dead. And Kyoshiro then says, those guys didn't know who I was, didn't even bother asking. And then Katakuri says, Alright, Denjiro, you're the last scabbard. You're the second to last scabbard, I'm pretty sure. As Denjiro's like, wait, what? What do you mean, like, second to last? And he says, we've gathered most of the scabbards. Last person we probably need is Kawatsu. And he says, wait, what do you mean we? And he holds up Luffy's bounty poster and says, this man is hunting every Yonko. Kaido is in control of this one, but our captain's being cautious, so my captain's being cautious, so we might need the scabbards to help with us with this, so we're grabbing you as well. And he says, there's one person that I want us to get, as he thinks that, like, he knows he doesn't want to fight he doesn't want to fight Kaido. He knows he's too strong. He says, well, we might need Yasu the Hedgehog. And Katakuri says, he was one of the first people we found when we got to Wano. He's like, oh, damn it. So, yeah. He's like, alright, fine. And he sees Brook and is like, it's like, Ghost! Brook then says, no, not Ghost. Just dead man walking. As, like Zoro instantly runs back with, like the 9 scabbards and the rest of the crew. Well, I'm gonna say they don't have Chopper yet. They didn't find him yet. Then they see, like he sees, like, Denjiro's like, oh, you did find most of the scabbards. So this makes 8. And, Kinemon then says, yeah, 8. Then he sees Izo. He's like, well, Lord Izo, you've returned. So, yeah, he's kind of impressed with that, and so he's like, alright then, I guess we'll go to the prison and free Kawatsu. And Luffy then says, alright then. And they start running around, and everyone instantly assumes, that another gang formed that was strong enough to take down Kyoshiro's gang. So, yeah, they get to the prison, and Kyoshiro, due to his status with Orochi, they're let in. They go to Kawatsu's cell, and everyone's like, like Kaido's guards are like, you're not allowed in here. And Kyoshiro says on orders of who? They say Kaido. And Kyoshiro says, well, I don't take my orders from Kaido, I take them from Orochi. As he kills two of Kawatsu's guards. And every one of Kaido's guards is like, get them. And Luffy then says, the 9 scabbards can stay here. I'll take care of the other guys. As he gets ready to fight, and he's like, alright then. And he starts dropping all of the guys. And like, then that's when Kid will just jump out of nowhere and say, me and Law got lost looking for you. as Law just forms a giant room and slices most of the guards, like half the guards, to pieces. And Kid will summon some tech and start, not tech, some metal, and start like stabbing some of them, or use some of their own metal to stab them. Some bullet appears saying, I got lost looking for those two. He slams his fist in the ground, and they all just get sent flying nowhere. And yeah, basically most of the people that Luffy brought to Wano are there now. And Buggy, I'm gonna say he's like Alvida's there with the club. Like she got a new one. So yeah, Alvida actually walks in behind Luffy, saying, "Finally we caught up to you." Buggy's holding their kid, and he says, "Yeah, we can't find anyone. Find a babysitter in Wano." Luffy kind of can't help but laugh to himself and says, give him to me. He won't be touched." As like Luffy's kind of just dodging everyone's hits and hitting them. And at one point, like, Queen comes out, I believe his name was. Sorry for my pausing, I just have to do this. Okay, I'd look up Kaido's All-Stars, like King, Queen, and Jack. So yeah. Queen will appear, like, looking for a fight. And one of the people that got arrested was Chopper. So, yeah. Chopper's in prison cell with Kawatsu. So, also Usopp is in prison as well. I can point that out. So, Usopp is in prison cell with Kawatsu and Chopper. I think Usopp just says, he'll tell the scabbards, Luffy's my captain as well. Chopper will appear saying, yeah, mine too. They're like, really? Then why don't you break out? Everyone's extremely strong. Usopp says, we could have. We're just waiting for Luffy to arrive. Usopp will reach his hand out of the cell and just tear the door off. So Usopp will just, grab, say, the nearest gun and start firing in the crowd, hitting every shot. Chopper breaks his... Well, I'm going to say Chopper's in C-Stone handcuffs as well. Usopp just kicks through them. Chopper then says, thanks, Usopp, and stands up. Kawatsu is also freed as he just grabs his sword on the ground and gets ready to fight. And that's when, like, more men appear. And that's when King flies in saying, "You bastard, you owe me for that kick." And the numbers will then appear, like the artificial giants. I believe I didn't go through their fight when I mentioned them the first time. I got caught up in saying manga spoilers. But numbers appear with Queen and King. Jack is healing on Onigashima, as Kaido doesn't blame him for being beaten by Luffy and needing to get intense healing. So yeah, if you guys remember, Jack was thrown off of Zoe by Luffy, so there was some force in that throw. So yeah. After that, Kid and basically everyone that Luffy brought. The Straw Hats, I'm gonna start just referring, like, if I have to name multiple people, I'm gonna say the Straw Hats. Luffy gets his own thing. Or if I'm talking about someone separate. The Straw Hats are fighting through the crowd, and plus the 9 scabbards. Yasu and Izo are also included in the scabbards, I'm gonna say. So Izo's using a sword and a gun and fighting with them. So, yeah. We're gonna cut to 9 scabbards as they're slicing down everyone. They don't have time to bring out the poison stuff as they're being beaten too quickly. That's when it's just left to the numbers, King and Queen. Assuming Luffy then says, "Alright, I want Katakuri and Zoro at my side this instant." They will do so. Oh, and listen, I'm gonna say Luffy tells Katakuri and Zoro to stand by him. Luffy just tells Katakuri to stand by him. And he tells, like, the Grand Fleet and the Scabbards to... Well, he tells the other Straw Hats and the 9 Scabbards to fight the numbers. They'll do so, and I'm going to fast forward to when... we're going to go to the Luffy and Zoro fighting... No, Luffy and Katakuri fighting King and Queen. King uses a flaming sword, so Luffy volunteers to take that. Since I'm assuming Katakuri's mochi is mainly cold. I put him unless he used, like, the jet move. So yeah, Luffy's fighting King, and like King will try to like slash apart Luffy until Luffy just grabs a blade, and flings it towards King again. So Luffy just says, as he just flips away and grabs the biggest blade he can find, saying, "This should do so." As he coats it in red hockey, and he jumps at King. Not Luffy's mind. If this were a TV show, the screen would kind of go black. As it turns back on, King has his whole upper body cut in half. So King was killed by Luffy, as Luffy's one of the top swordsmen to ever exist. And Katakuri is just toying with Queen and Katakuri. Like he actually kind of trained a little bit to catch up to Luffy. And soon Katakuri will use his strongest attack, which would be he makes like 2 giant fists, and this is my move I'm making up, I guess. Makes 2 giant fists bigger than the ones he makes in the original. He coats them in hockey, and then he uses the jet thing on them, and then they both slam into Queen, and Queen is down. So yeah, Katakuri would then pass out due to how much energy that took. Luffy picks up Katakuri, saying, "For someone so big, you're pretty light." You guys don't remember, Katakuri is like 16 feet tall, so, and Luffy in this one's like 6 feet, so Luffy's like an average male height, while Katakuri is like one of the tallest men, would be the tallest man to ever exist in the real world. So yeah, once they leave the prison with Kabatsu, Luffy then says, "All right, we have the 9 scabbards plus Yasu and Izo. And we have Momo as well." So yeah. So Luffy then says, "Why don't we take down Orochi?" As they're like, And that's when Shinobu will then point out, saying, and one of the kingdoms only allies with him, but he also has some powerful guards. Well, not powerful guards. They're not his. They're Kaido's. They were known as Pooh, X Drake, and Hawkins. He says, "Oh, supernovas. I guess I can start completing my goal a little bit earlier." As like Katakuri's like, "Excuse me," and he says, "Yeah, warlords, supernovas, Yonko, then the world government. Even if they're good marines, I'm taking them down." And yeah. So Luffy's going through the. Also, I'm trying to get this out fast, so I'm probably gonna go through the whole arc. This is probably gonna be the final part. So yeah, Luffy goes through everyone else, and they start the idea to raid Orochi. Shinobu will then say, "There's one city that allies with Orochi and no one else. Not even Kaido." Luffy then says, "So, I guess we're also burning down the city." As the scabbards are like, we're totally against this, but fine. As Luffy then says, "All right, scabbards, straw hats, whoever you are, let's go." And they march up to the city, and they're at the gates of it. And Orochi's looking down from his castle, seeing, the scabbards plus the straw hats. So then, he has a guard rush at Luffy, and he knocks them all out. Like Orochi's completely alone in this fight. As Orochi's like, "Hawkins, Drake, Apu, where are you two? Where are you 3? And that's because they're at Onigashima. They're not in Wano. I'm pretty sure Onigashima's in Wano. It's just they're not. It's not directly where Orochi is. Then Luffy then yells, "Burn it to the ground." As I was like, "Well, basically destroy the city." As the citizens have to fight back, but they can't. At the end of it, most they tried not to kill anyone in the city, but they are cutting down the place. So Orochi just instantly uses his devil fruit and turns into the Hydra, and he starts fighting. Luffy then just kind of laughs, cuts his arm in hockey, points it out, and he says, "Should I give him my strongest attack for fun or not?" And Zoro then says, "Captain, you're not even worthy of this." As he says, "All right, anyone that can use hockey launch an attack at him." Orochi just says, "Wait, what?" As most of the scabbards cook their blades. Well, basically everyone that's with Luffy can use hockey, like even Buggy and Alvida. Well, not Momo and like Alvida and Buggy's kid, but yeah, it's like two people can't use hockey in Luffy's group right now. Is they all just throw like a slash or like a very just strong shockwave of a punch. Yeah. Basically, everyone just throws a attack at Orochi, and like I said with King, the screen would go black, and we cut to Orochi just being a mangled body in pieces. So yeah, Orochi's dead. And one of the civilians escapes to end up telling one of Kaido's men, Orochi and our city were destroyed. As Kaido gets the news, and Apu, Drake, and Hawkins are there with them, along with Jack, and a lot of the Beast Pirates. And they hear Kaido spit out his sake, and he's like, no way, no way in hell. As Hawkins like, what, sir? And Kaido then says, the Straw Hats and the Scabbards are back. They killed Orochi. As Drake instantly just shivered down his spine, saying, Captain, we can't fight Luffy, we'll lose. Kaido then says, oh yeah, what makes you lack that confidence? And that's when Drake says, that's because he was perhaps the strongest supernova to ever exist. Plus he was trained by Shanks, a little bit of Whitebeard, and yeah, there's no other reason he's terrifying. And Kaido then says, so what? It doesn't matter. As then they also say, he's also the brother of Fire Fist Ace. As Kaido then says, that one might be a problem. And we're gonna cut around like 2 days later, as Luffy then told them to settle down. Like he had the Scabbards and his crew settle down for a bit and regroup. So the whole pirate group, the Scabbards, like basically everyone that's Luffy has gathered. So I'm gonna say Luffy. Oh yeah, Luffy broke into the prison and kind of got his guards, his Grand Fleet. So basically, Luffy's whole Grand Fleet and the Scabbards and the main crew, they're all in the city they destroyed. And so Luffy then tells people from the village that Yasu was in. I forgot the name of it, but they all ate smiles. So yeah, Killer didn't eat a smile. Like he's perfectly sane. But they're all kind of in the city. They're talking for a bit. And Luffy then says, after 2 days, he says, all right, excuse me, my stutter. He says, let's get to Onigashima. If I repeat something, like if I repeat the first letter, it's because I'm saying it too fast. So if I stutter, I'm sorry. A few hours later, they get to they can see it from their boat. They're at Onigashima, and Kaido's like waiting at the docks for them. Like he's waiting at the base of his island and says you finally showing yourself, Straw Hat. Luffy then says, yeah, I've been waiting for this. And the Straw Hat crew, they're all in like their basic attire. Like they're not in Wano gear. They're in their real clothes. Like what you see them wearing before they get to Wano. Like Zoro has like the green robe. Sanji has his like suit. They're in their basic gear. He has Robin and Nami cover their chest. So yeah. He makes Robin and Nami wear a kimono over their top. So yeah. He sees a dinosaur next to Kaido, and he sees Apu. He's a giant straw man, and he sees a small Apu. And Kid points to them, saying, "You damn traitors!" As he jumps at them, and Luffy then says, "A bullet, go with them." Same with you, Law. They will do so, as that's when Kid I'm sure Kid hates Apu the most. So Kid will just grab Apu, and he's fighting Apu on equal terms. Not on equal terms, just completely one-sided, as Apu is being punched around. Drake will try to jump he'll rush towards Kid, and Kid is like this. Like actually, I'm gonna say Kid and Law are at the same level of fighting right now. But in this order, like the strong supernovas would be Luffy. Blackbeard's dead, so it would be Luffy, Kid, Law, like Like those are the top 3 supernovas. Luffy, Kid, and Law. They're the top 3. Law jumps at Hawkins and starts like slicing him to pieces, just using pure swordsmanship. And Law Hawkins tried to use like a Seastone bullet that he has like in a gun. And note station, Law infuses his sword with as much hockey as he can, and he cuts the bullet in half clean. He then just starts cutting apart like the lives, and at this point, what was it? Hawkins is on his last life, and he retreats, and Drake is just being punched in the ground multiple like his head's just being like stomped on by Bullet. You know, Pooh is like barely hanging on to life as Bullet and Kid look at each other as they throw Apu and Drake into the water, and they drown. That's when the 3 that Luffy sent are looking at Hawkins. Kaido then says, "Hawkins, retreat. Jack should be healed right now. Have him with you." And King and Queen are dead, so yeah. And Kaido then says, "You have so many people with you. What happened to King and Queen?" As Luffy then says, "Those bastards are dead." As Kaido then says, what about everyone else that I had?" Luffy then says, "Every guy you had in Wano is dead. Like there's no chance they're alive." Kaido then hesitates as he then just sees like, no, Luffy's not like there's like 4 ships with Luffy. He doesn't see the other few hundreds behind him. He doesn't see the few hundreds behind him. So there's hundreds of ships surrounding Onigashima. Well, thousands. As Kaido then says, "Damn it." As he says, "Hawkins, Jack. Like anyone that can fly, go and fly." As, you know, Jack then hides somewhere. Like I'm gonna say Kaido grabs Hawkins and Jack and flies into the sky. As Onigashima kind of just shot to the ground. Like there's like a few hybrids that escape, but Onigashima is being burned to the ground now. Like there's like a Buster Call level hitting Onigashima. He then hesitates as he knows Kaido starts firing fireballs into his ships, and there was around 11,000 people there. Luffy just realizes he's doing observation and easily counts. He has around 8,000 people left. Luffy then says, "Aim your cannons towards Kaido." As they start doing that, and Hawkins is killed in the process. So yeah, Kaido falls to the ground injured. Jack is also injured. So Luffy then says, "Zoro, Katakuri, do what you want to them." He just points to Jack and Kaido, and he says, "Open fire." As all 8,000 ships start opening fire on them. Kaido is unaffected by the cannons, but some of them were infused with heavy hockey due to Luffy. Luffy was throwing cannons at Kaido. Well, he's throwing cannonballs at Kaido. So yeah, that's why Kaido's heavily injured. Kaido's not injured. Kaido just fell to the ground due to having to support Jack. And I'm gonna say he actually fell. I'm sure he transformed to catch Jack and Hawkins, but Hawkins was dead. So yeah, Kaido's a little bit angry as he smacks away all the cannons with his baton. This one, Luffy just says, all right, the ships can retreat. Just grab the dead guys from the water. And my crew and the scabbards will handle Kaido." And that's when I'm gonna say the scabbards have found Enma and were hiding it from Zoro, and they present it to Zoro. Zoro then will just give, I'm gonna say he says, "Give me a minute," as he walks down to his room and puts Queen's blade away. He then puts Enma in his mouth and says, "All right then." They're both heavily infused, all 3 swords are heavily infused with hockey now. Luffy goes Tank Man, or Bound Man, I believe. The swords are all in their strongest form. And the scabbards are using the strongest attack as they jump at Kaido. And Kaido is being sliced alive, especially by Zoro. Then Luffy just uses a King Kong organ on Kaido's face, as Kaido is just now bleeding from almost every spot on his face. So yeah, after about 10 minutes, Kaido finally falls to the ground, beaten, bloodied, and dead. So yeah, and Morgans was following his strides, he needed to follow them just because of the streak they're on. And Kaido, he was surprised when he sees the Strat Grand Fleet is still leaving, and he sees Onigashima in Rebel. Like Morgan's around. Like he first he went to see Orochi. Orochi's in the middle of being buried. King and Queen, he went to find them. He sees they're both dead. The city that Orochi was in, burned to the ground. Onigashima in pieces. Kaido and his crew dead. Three supernovas also pronounced dead. So let me just make real quick. So the Straw Hats, they fit in the Grand Fleet plus the what was it? The Scabbards left Wano, and those Scabbards didn't leave Wano. But they finished what they were doing to Onigashima, and they regrouped in the center of Wano. So yeah. And this time, I'm gonna say Morgan personally delivered the bounty posters after saying, he followed you to follow them to give them updates on their bounty. So I'm gonna give these with all Straw Hat bounties. Also, Carrot was a part of the Straw Hats still. Like, I'm gonna say she joined the Straw Hats after Onigashima. Jinbei was with them the whole time. If I did not mention him, I'm sorry, but if you guys didn't really hear me in the first few parts, he did join the Straw Hats. That's why I said Luffy was finding other Straw Hats. So assume Jinbei was with them the whole time. But first, I'm gonna go over the Scabbards, plus Izo, Izo and Yasu. He's part of I counted them as well. Pedro was also with them, as he was with Carrot. So Kinemon had a bounty as well, due to Morgan's watching. Kinemon had a bounty of 800 million. Same with Izo. Dendro got 700 million. Doji got 750. Kiku got 550. Yasu got 550. Nekomamushi got 900. Dogstorm got 950 million. Like, if I just say the number, if I say the 100 number, it's millions. So wait, let me restart. Kinemon 800 million. Izo 800 million. Dendro 700 million. Doji 750 million. Kiku 550 million. Yasu 550 million. Nekomamushi 900 million. 550 million for Yasu, I mean. Nekomamushi 900 million. Dogstorm 950 million. Pedro 800 million. Kawatsu 600 million. Raizo 550 million. Kanjo, because I do not like him, got 400 million. Now Luffy's bounty is now 4 billion 40 million 996,000. So 4.4 just 4 billion 40 million 996,000. And Zoro now has a bounty of 3.5 billion. Sanji has the same bounty as Zoro. Usopp has a 3 billion berry bounty. Robin 2.5 billion. Brook 2 billion. Nami 1 billion. Frankie 1 billion. Chopper 1 billion. Katakuri has a 3.5 billion berry bounty. Jinbei got 2.4 billion. And Carrot has 2 billion. Pretty sure I said Bartolomeo's part of the crew now. Wait, no, that was in Broly. So, yeah. So, Bartolomeo doesn't get, everyone gets a bounty increase. I'm just not writing down everyone. Actually, I'll do it in the comments. I'll write down everyone that got a bounty increase in the comments. Alright, so, the part is not over yet, as this is going to be the finale, because I'm going through everything. So, yeah. So those are the bounties. After destroying Kaido's place. And the reason I'm putting his bounty at that low is because I want him to be lower than Shanks. Also, Ace has a bounty around Ace had the same bounty as Whitebeard, basically. That's what I'm gonna say. Ace had the same bounty as Whitebeard. If you guys don't know what that bounty is, Google it, because I don't want to. Basically, Pedro would officially become a scabbard, along with Yasu and Izo. Pedro staying in Wano. While Nekomamushi and Dogstorm have to go back. And Momo and Hiyori, Zoro and Hiyori are going to do some things, as Luffy will also hit on Hiyori and do some things with her as well. Momo is not pleased with Luffy or Zoro, but he can't really stop them. So yeah. Robin acknowledged Sanji's feelings and did some things with him as well. There's not a couple yet. I'm more of a Frankie Robin kind of guy, but that's gonna happen at the end of this. Yeah. So the Strats and their grand fleet will leave Wano, leaving the Scabbards minus Dogstorm and Nekomamushi. But yeah. So once they leave, their next stop would be Shanks' territory, as they want to talk to him first. See if he'll stop being a Yonko to take down the world government. And yes, this will be a Luffy versus Shanks fight. But this time, Luffy will actually just tell, he's actually going to tell his Grand Fleet to leave. Like, only his main crew is going to be allowed to fight, so. 12. Huh? So, 12 people versus Shanks' crew. And mind you, everyone, Robin, Zoro, Luffy, and Katakuri. They all have conquerors. Only Luffy and Katakuri are canon to have conquerors, but the people on Luffy's crew, only 2 of them are canon to have conquerors. But I wouldn't be too mad if Zoro and Robin had conquerors. Yeah. So they're heading towards Shanks' territory while the Grand Fleet have to camp out in Ace's. They'll actually just tell Ace, we're Luffy's Grand Fleet. He wants us here while we wait for him. Ace will allow them in, and then he reads what they did in Wano. He's mighty impressed with them. As Buggy, I'm going to give Buggy a head bounty, as Buggy has a bounty of now 900 million. So I'm saying, for the meme, Buggy gets a 1 billion berry bounty. You guys know Katakuri Ken bounty, Buggy gets that much as his bounty. So yeah, for the memes, Buggy is a person with a 1 billion berry bounty. By the end of this, Buggy's the goofier Shanks. By the end of this whole part, Buggy's the goofier Shanks. Just he doesn't have conquerors. So yeah, Luffy is going to go to Shanks' ship with. Well, I'm gonna say he finds the island that Shanks is on, with only his ship, and Shanks will then take the Straw Hat flag. Once Luffy docks, Luffy, no hesitation, takes the Straw Hat off and gives it to Shanks. Shanks will push it into Luffy's chest, saying, you're no Straw Hat Luffy, not mine anymore. Luffy will chuckle, saying, yeah, I guess that's true. So Luffy will keep the Straw Hat on, and Luffy then says, I guess I have to pass it on to someone someday. Shanks then says, yeah, if you have kids, no, not them. That's kind of cheating the cycle. Luffy then laughs, saying, alright, fine. So yeah. So Luffy then talks to Shanks about leaving his Yonko status behind to take down the world government. Luffy then says, if need be, I'll also take down the revolutionaries. So yeah. And Robin hears this saying, really, if need be. Luffy then says, if they get caught up trying to take down their own power, I'll take the revolutionaries down as well. Robin then says, I'll give you that one. I'll take them down with you. So yeah, Luffy and Shanks will then say no to Luffy's dismay. Luffy then says, Shanks, alright, I'm gonna ask you one more time before I end up starting a fight. Join me to take down the world government and the supernovas. Shanks then grabs Luffy's shirt and says, Luffy, no matter how strong you are, that's impossible. As he throws Luffy to the ground, Luffy then ends up saying, I never knew you to disrespect anyone. Shanks then says, no, I'm not disrespecting you. I'm pointing out you're being an idiot. As Luffy grabs Shanks' shirt and headbutts him. Beckman just ends up pulling out a pistol, shooting at Luffy. Usopp beats Beckman's reflexes and shoots the bullet like an inch away from the gun. And Yasopp and Beckman aren't impressed with Usopp's reflexes, as Yasopp just then says, I did train him a bit, so it's a point it's fair he'd be that strong. As Usopp then says, I'm the best sniper in the world. What do you think would happen? And Usopp carries Kabuto and a rifle, so Usopp pulls out his rifle and points it at Beckman and Yasop. And that's when Zoro then says, "Alright, I guess we're taking on his whole crew." As Jinbei says, I don't know if we can handle this. And Carrot says, Luffy then says, "Alright, so probably only me, Zoro, Sanji, Robin, and Usopp can handle the crew. I don't know about the rest of you." As Luffy then says, "Alright, Beckman, Rockstar, Yasop, and Lucky Roo. Those are our biggest problems." He says, "Zoro, you take down Yasop. Usopp isn't fighting his father. Usopp, you take down Beckman. Robin, try to take down Lucky Roo. The rest of you, take down the rest of his crew. Just not kill them." And Shanks is like, "You really want to do this here?" Luffy then says, "Just stay away from the village." And Shanks just gets up holding his nose as he says, "Alright then." As Luffy then just pulls out his own sword, as Luffy will carry one. Luffy then just clashes sword with Shanks and they start fighting. As they're fighting, Luffy ends up Shanks did not lose his arm. Shanks did not lose it. So Shanks has two arms. So Luffy and Shanks are just clanging swords and punching each other. Right now, Luffy and Shanks are equals. Right at this, not actually. Luffy's a little bit stronger than Shanks, but it is going to be a close fight. After about 8 hours, Shanks and Luffy are both tired. So is the rest of Shanks' crew. Yasop, he's tired of dodging slices, and Zoro's tired of slicing bullets. Usopp is tired. Usopp ran out of bullets. He's almost out of stars, and he had to rely on hand-to-hand combats most of the time. And Bullet, he left with Crocus. Kid left as well. So did Law. As they're part of a grand fleet. They're not part of the main crew. Luffy is very tired still, as he then says, "Damn it." And he then just throws his sword to the ground, and he uses what energy and hockey he has left, and says, "Gear Forth, Snake Man." He says, "Gear Forth, Snake and Tank Man combination." As Luffy's is just super buff in Snake Man form. Bound Man and Tank Man are a little more fat, but this time, Luffy just has pure muscle on him, bullet levels of muscle, in Snake Man. And this time, the Force is 10 times stronger than a regular Bound Man. As Luffy then says, "After this one, I'm probably not gonna live." As his whole crew look at him saying, "Why would you risk that movie even?" Luffy then says, "Me and him are both tired. I don't know if I can end this." As he jumps, he kind of bounces towards Shanks. Shanks, no hesitation, slash that off Luffy's head, as he knows him and Luffy are probably going to fight to the death. But before his sword even moves a centimeter, Shanks feels 4 of his ribs just shatter, as Luffy has a fist in Shanks' side. Shanks is sent flying into a mountain, as Luffy then says, "I'm pretty sure Snake Man would have done the most part." As Luffy breathes out heavily, as most of his hockey and double fruit power leave, as he's now in basic Snake Man. He then starts making rapid fists, and they start banging into Shanks' sides and everything. Shanks then gets angry as he just jumps at Luffy and ends up stabbing through one of his arms. He then grabs Shanks' head and just slams Shanks and starts repeatedly slamming Shanks' head on the ground. And after about 10 minutes, Shanks' head is completely bloodied and bulging. Shanks is still alive. Zoro finally beat Yasop by slashing his chest. Yasop is just bleeding. And Usopp finally got a shot in the Beckman's stomach, as Beckman's hit no vital organs or anything, just Beckman's kind of just bleeding. Robin ended up breaking both of Lucky Roo's he broke Lucky Roo's arm and legs, both of his arms, both of his legs, and she's at the point where she's kind of just holding her heel above his head, she's wearing just high heels and holding one of them above his head. Nami is just tired out after just lightning zapping people. Since Luffy's whole crew is just tired. So yeah. He then just throws Shanks to Yasop, who's just He was like, Jesus, Shanks got beat. And Luffy left Snake Man the moment he grabbed Shanks' head. Luffy then throws up tons of blood as Chopper looks at this, and then Luffy blacks out. Now we cut to around 2 weeks later, as Luffy is now in Ace's territory. And like Chopper called, like he called Crocus and he called Law to come get Luffy. So Chopper called Crocus and he called Law. They're treating Luffy. As Luffy wakes up, and Law just says, "Well, you were healed a week ago. I guess this week was just recovery time for you." Luffy stands up, saying, "Yeah, I guess so." As Luffy stands up and stretches, and he's like, "Yeah, I guess I'm in peak condition." Chopper then buffs up and slams Luffy to the ground, saying, "You idiot! You almost killed yourself." Luffy then says, "Yeah, I guess I overestimated Shanks." He looks over to see Shanks' whole head just wrapped in bandages still. Shanks is just glaring at Luffy the whole time, saying, "You slammed my head too much." And a Law then says, "Yeah, his one concussion was like 8 of them in one." Luffy then says, "Damn, sorry." As Yasop is just chilling in a chair, along with Zoro. Oop. Sorry. Yasop's just chilling in a chair, like talking to Zoro. And yeah. So, like Zoro, like Shanks' crew and Luffy's crew are getting along, except for Luffy and Shanks, as they're angry at each other. Shanks then agrees to drop his Yonko status and go help Luffy fight the Supernovas and government. Shanks just then sends a letter to what was it? The 5 heads of the world nobles. He sends a letter to them, resigning as a Yonko, saying he now works under Straw Hat Luffy. They're not worried about giving him a bounty increase yet, as they want to see him take down Ace, as they can tell he's taking down the Yonko. So they'll wait to get his final bounty increase to when he beats Ace. So yeah, when he attempts to beat Ace, like no one gets a bounty increase except for Shanks to like 4.6 billion for daring to fight Luffy. Shanks then he clarifies, he's beaten by Luffy. So yeah. After that, Luffy is like, alright then. He stands up and walks out to see the big building that Ace is in with Mass Deuce. And when Luffy walks in like just shirtless with a straw hat on, and pants and everything. He's not wearing a shirt, as he doesn't want to put one on. So yeah. Luffy's first question to Ace is, what'd you do with the Kumo no Mi? As Deuce is sitting next to Ace, as he turns his hand into like a giant black cloud. Luffy then says, "Oh, I see. You give it to him." As Ace then says, "Luffy, I know what you've been doing here. So my guess is you're here to fight me, or at least tell me to step down from being a Yonko." Luffy then says, I guess that is my question." And Ace then says, "No, I'm not going to, because I'm the only reason these islands that Whitebeard are protected." So, Luffy then says, "Come on, my goal is only to take on the world government." Ace then says, "You don't know what you're talking about. That's incredible and hard." And Luffy then says, "I beat Shanks. Don't make me beat you." As Luffy kind of winces as one of his ribs is still broken. And Ace says, "You're in no condition to fight me, Luffy." Luffy then says, I decided what condition I'm in," as he's already in front of Ace using Gear Second. And Ace saw it's coming as he grabs Luffy's fist. Ace throws Luffy down the stairs. Ace how some TV shows there's the giant staircase and there's that one chair that the ruler sits in. Ace has one of those, but just for him and Mass Deuce. And Ace then says, "Luffy, if you're here for a fight, you got one. as Ace just turns into fire and jumps down. Ace just crawls around into like a flaming tornado as he slams into Luffy. Or he thinks he does, as Luffy's just pushing him back using armament. He then just pushes with all his might using the invisible barrier and pushes Ace into the ceiling. As he says, that was harder than it needed to be. As Luffy then says, Alright, my Grand Fleet is here. And me and you are basically tied for the power. As Ace then just appears using his max speed and flames and just decks Luffy into a wall, saying, right now, do your injuries. The ones that are still healing, I'm stronger. As Zoro then jumps at Ace using armament. And Zoro's armament is on the level of Ace's, so Ace has to use armament to block. As Ace then just looks at his armament, saying it has a scrape on it. Master Deuce then jump at Zoro, as Zoro then says too weak. As Zoro just slashes Master Deuce back open. Master Deuce even used armament hockey. And as he's holding his back, is bleeding heavily. And he says, Ace, just tell them to leave. As Ace will do so, and they do, and starts to leave. Luffy then says, alright, first tell the villagers to evacuate. Second, give me a few days to recover so I can be fully healed. They will do so, and by the time they're done, and after those few days, Ace has his whole crew with him, and Luffy has his Grand Fleet looking at, Ace's tower. Because remember, Luffy has around 8,000 people with him. Ace still recruited some. As I'm going to say, like, some spares from Big Mom's and from Kaido's crew came to Ace. Now, Ace and Luffy both have around 8,000 people. And soon, Luffy's kind of just sitting in his basic gear as he yelled towards Ace's castle, I guess. And Ace then says, ready for a fight? Yes, Luffy then smiles and says, burn it. As Ace just realizes, Luffy started the island. And Luffy just yelled, burn it, Buster Caller's something. And it's like cannons are just like firing onto the island. Ace's castle's being shot up as Master Deuce is still healing. During this process, Master Deuce is not killed, but he is just put in a more critical condition. So yeah. Cannons fire till they're all out of cannons. And Ace and his crew are like cut down like short numbers. And Shanks is like I'm lucky he didn't do this to me. As Luffy then says, this was the same move I used to burn down Onigashima. And Ace then says, I doubt even you can survive that. He says, oh, my gum balloon handles most things. Luffy then just jumps at Ace using Gear Second. And they collide fists using Luffy uses his strongest Red Hawk, but this time it is called White Hawk as white fire comes off. Blue fire comes off. He calls it Blue Hawk. Him and Ace collide fists with blue fire as Luffy's flames are fighting Ace's. And they end up pushing each other away. And he does know Master Deuce probably put in a more critical condition. And for 10 days straight, Luffy and Ace, like all of Ace's crew and Luffy's Grand Fleet, fight. So yeah. In those 10 days, Master Deuce was hidden and healed. So yeah. It's like at the 8-day mark, Master Deuce came out to fight. He was beaten easily by Zoro, but yeah. 10 days, we see that, Luffy, they hear a loud thud, as basically the Strike crew, the Strike Grand Fleet won their war. They hear a loud thud, after they're done, they go to see, Luffy has his fist, like Luffy punched Ace in the stomach, and Ace just is being supported by Luffy's fist. Luffy did not kill Ace, as Ace is just slumped over on Luffy's fist, because Luffy punched Ace into a mountain. And Ace just is dripping blood from his mouth. And the last words Ace says before he passes out is, I submit. Luffy pulls his fist back as he just falls to one knee, saying, alright, I guess I'm now the new captain of the Spade Pirates. As now Luffy has a few more thousand people under his command. So Luffy now has a Grand Fleet of around 20,000 people. Luffy then just loads up his whole ships, all the ships that he has left. Some of the ships are overcrowded, but you know they have to build more. Luffy then says, I guess our next goal would have to be the supernovas. And Rayleigh's there as well, as he does see Shanks is still bandaged up. He asks what Shanks will happen, and Shanks will then explain, no, he's beaten by Luffy. So, yeah. And Shanks had his crew sneak away, like on their way there. Luffy then, he told Luffy, you know, he'd sneak away to fight some supernovas on his own. Luffy believed that. You know, Shanks left, and Shanks' real goal, get to Marijois. And once Shanks got to Marijois with his crew, they tried to stop until Shanks then said, you know, those rats are coming after supernovas, then you. And that's when the world government's like, get them patched up and trained in our ways. Then we'll be prepared. And let me go all supernovas real quick. Alright, where did I last leave off? I just stand up and stretch. So probably if I pause a lot, it's probably one of my longer videos. I have to stand up and move a lot. Like, I cannot just sit down the whole time. So, yeah. So probably gonna be my longest video I ever do. So part of it's like a good percentage of it is just me talking. But yeah. So Luffy beat Ace and Shanks, and Kaido and Big Mom. So yeah. Shanks snitched to the world government, and now he has to be trained like a CP9 member. Or a CPI-0 member. Luffy can kind of guess that Shanks did that, so yeah. Luffy then goes to Fishman Island and grabs Whitebeard, whose sickness came back, so Crocus will then join on the treatment. After about 4 days, Whitebeard's all better, and Luffy will grab every pirate member that left the Whitebeard pirate crew, or just every ex-pirate from one of his Grand Fleet members. By the time he's done, he has around... he had 20,000, so I'm gonna say he has around 2,200 members. Just like stray pirates that left a Big Mom, or like just Whitebeard, Blackbeard, Kaido, whatever. So yeah. By the time he's done, he also grabs the world government, and he relinquishes his title as a Yonko as well. Then he just calls everyone in his Grand Fleet a member of the world government, not world government of the Revolutionary Army, and that he's one of the commanders. So, and what people behind him are his army. And he brought this up to Dragon as well. Dragon just says, alright then, let's go. As they launch their attack on the new Marineford. Luffy just calls on his buster, his cannons are now, like, they did upgrades. You know, they're not launching the attack yet. We're waiting the time to get 2 years. That was because Luffy wanted to give his crew 1 year to prep, and to give the Marines 1 year to prep. So, yeah, they're all getting... it's 1 year and not 2 years. So when Luffy's 20. Luffy's ready for a fight. But one thing he didn't mean to do on purpose was get a few women pregnant. And that would be... and Zoro did the same thing as well. He went back to Wano for a little bit and got Hiyori pregnant. But Luffy ended up getting Nami pregnant and Boa pregnant. And Sanji got Robin pregnant. And Usopp went back to his village and got Kaya pregnant. So yeah, just different kids. So yeah. When they come back, and everyone understands why. Just Nami and Robin are not allowed to participate. So yeah. You know, Robin's allowed to participate because she left her kid with like some revolutionaries that aren't allowed to fight or can't fight. So yeah, Boa can just leave her kid with like the whole village that she has, like the kaiju, whatever you want to call them. She can leave her kid with them. So yeah, Nami's the only one that Nami can give her kid to Noriko while she fights. So yeah, they're ready to fight, and yeah. And they trained while pregnant, so they're very strong. So yeah, they launch their attack on New Marineford. They take out the marine bases from like all around the world. Smoker, Kobe, Tashigi, Helmeppo, they all know what's coming. And they're like scared as they're just up at Marie's while they're like, oh, should we submit? And Sengoku is also he retired, like he quit. So did Suru. Like they know they can't. They're too old to handle Luffy. And this is when like Sengoku, Suru, Garp, like everyone that was around when Roxy's epic was, they're picturing Luffy as a new Zebek, just a little bit kinder. And they get to New Marineford, as like Sengoku and Suru are up front, and they submit. Luffy then says, "If you submit, get over to my ship." They will do so as they're now part of Luffy's revolutionary fleet. You know, almost like Luffy just lets them submit with Garp. Like Garp is just sitting on the sidelines, and while Whitebeard is not participating as either, like anyone that's above the age of 50 on Luffy's ships, or besides Brook, are not allowed to participate. So if you have gray hair, you're not allowed to participate on Luffy's crew. Like if you're too old, if Luffy declares you old, you're not allowed to participate. Brook can participate because he moves like he's still young, even though he's almost 100. 100, not 100. So yeah. Whitebeard, Sengoku, Suru, and Garp are just underwater chilling. So yeah. Tenryubito. I believe I said that right. But yeah, Luffy uses Buster Call level attack. Well, Luffy's all the ships all launching their attacks at once because they're modified cannons plus the revolutionaries. Actually, Dragon and Luffy are like the main just like shot callers now. So mixing their armies would give them around the pace of I'm gonna say 100,000 total people. So yeah. So Luffy fired his cannons, and yeah, that was around 80 Buster Calls in one. As New Marineford and part of the Red Line is now crumbling. Luffy then says, "All right, you know what to do. Use your moves or whatever you have to climb the Red Line." Luffy and a few hundred people are like scaling, like 2,000 people are scaling the Red Line. So yeah, and they all get to the top using ships or something. Like some more staying on the ground to take down Marines that are still left. Like Luffy's whole crew is at the top of the Red Line. Jinbei's there, Carrot's there, Katakuri's there, like everyone. And Carrot trained to the point where she can activate Sulong form without looking at the moon. Not moon. So yeah. Carrot went to her Sulong form using her shock thing and started just fighting Marines and everything. Luffy then looks at CP at just 0, and he sees Rob Lucci, Kaku, Shanks' crew, like all of Shanks' crew left. Luffy skipped the supernovas. He's like, no, these guys are first because they have Shanks. Ace is there as well with Master Deuce. And they're kind of burning Marijoa to the ground. And Jinbei he's only doing this because of Tiger. So Fisher Tiger. So yeah, they're all fighting. And after about an hour, they get to the same room where CP I-0 is with like Im-sama, and everyone else. Like basically every high-ranking Celestial Dragon is in there. Kobe was not killed by none other was Helmeppo or Hana or like Tashigi. Like Tashigi, Hana, Full Body, Helmeppo, Kobe, Smoker, and Django. I'm pretty sure Django was killed. I think Django's alive. Like those 7 people are alive. So yeah, Luffy kicks down the door to like the main room where everyone else is, and Luffy's Luffy just has like few people with guns behind him. They're not enemies. There's people with him. Luffy then just points to the celestial dragons. Dragon kicks on the door. Luffy's behind him. Dragon then points to them, saying fire, as they're all shot to death. That's where Luffy just then goes gear second, dropping some like Marines and celestial dragons. And by the time he's done, he had snapped some of the Ryubito's necks. As Luffy then points to them with his he points to his crew, then points to the Ryubito and says, "Kill them." he'll do so. And then it comes to, the CPI to 0. Luffy then says, this should be a fun rematch. Shanks then says, I'm a lot stronger. And Luffy then says, I bet. As Luffy then jumps at Shanks, and Shanks is actually able to protest Luffy's power, as Shanks will punch Luffy away. And Rob Lucci says, I've been waiting for this. He's about to slash at Luffy's chest until he's met with a hand on his head, and not Luffy, Ace will then say, yeah, sorry. And then he says sorry, as he just burns Lucci to ash, basically. Kaku was just horrified at Lucci was beat that fast. And this when Ace points behind Kaku, and Kaku is met with just a large black cloud going around him, and Master Deuce then says Black Thunderdome, as Kaku is being shocked to death with lightning, by just hockey infused lightning. By the time the dome is gone, Kaku is just dead. And then other members of CPI Zeros are killed. And then Eam summons all that's left. Luffy then walks up to him with Dragon, as they both infuse their hands with hockey, as they just shove him through Eam's chest. Eam is now dead, as he cannot protest Luffy or Dragon. So, yeah. So that's all I got. Sorry for the awkward silence. It's just, I realized I just got on my bed and my foot was in it. So, yeah. Kind of gross. Luffy was, just kind of proud of what he did, as he took down the biggest problem that he had. And Supernovas had heard about Luffy's plan, as the world government kind of guessed that was his plan. So, yeah, Supernovas, they all know that Luffy's coming for them. And, yeah. By the time they're done, Luffy is by the time they leave Marizewell, all the revolutionaries are tired. Even Dragon. Yeah, we did our thing. We're done now. Luffy will let them do this as they leave. And, everyone in Fishman Island were they weren't notified what happened. Luffy goes on there himself and tells them. They killed most of the residents of Marizewell. Sengoku says, with CPI to 0 there, I think you guys could do it. As Garp then mentions Zebek, he says, Luffy's probably stronger than Zebek by now. Sengoku and Tsuru are yeah, he's probably far above Zebek. Luffy then says, who are you talking about? As Garp then says, a few years ago, a few decades ago, there's a guy named Roxy Zebek. He wanted to take down everyone to become king of the world. It didn't matter if you were in his way or not. And basically, by the time me and Roger had to fight him, it was just me and Roger just tired, hurting. It took a team up of two of the strongest people to ever exist to beat Zebek. Luffy then says, the guy sounded like he'd be fun to fight. As Garp then says, it was a horror show, but you're probably far stronger than him. Luffy then says, I would try to get Roger, but he's dead. You're old, past your prime. So I don't know. And Garp can't help but laugh and say, all right, just drop the supernovas, then let us come back up to the surface. Luffy then says, go up all you want. I don't really care what you do. And supernovas, they took up learning hockey. The ones that didn't know it, they took up learning it. They needed to. So, yeah. Luffy goes up to the surface. And Whitebeard wanted to part and take down supernovas. As he goes up there with his Naginata for the first time in years. As he's I haven't had to draw this thing in years. As Luffy then says, I hope you did not get rusty with your devil fruit, as that would be a waste. Whitebeard then smacks Luffy over his head using a weight bubble, as Luffy just flung to the ground. not dragon. Whitebeard then says, "Don't insult your elders." He can't help but laugh to himself again and saying, "Fine, I'm sorry." And Drake, Hawkins, Apu are dead, while Killer, Kid, Zoro, and Law belong to Luffy, basically. They're on Luffy's crew, while Blackbeard is dead. So that leaves 3 supernovas. 4 are dead. That's 12. That's 2. That's 4. That's like 6 are down. So six are dead. Those supernovas. Well, 4 supernovas are dead. That leaves 6. Actually, no. Fuck, I'm messing up. So Apu, Hawkins, Drake, and Blackbeard are dead. That's 4. So 2 again. It's 8. There's 8 supernovas left. Then Zoro is on Luffy's crew. Killer's on Kid's crew. Kid works under Luffy. And Law is under Luffy. So that leaves 8. 8 supernovas aren't gonna fight. Well, 8 are gonna. Well, all supernovas are. Well, 8 are gonna fight. It's just, you know. So there's 8 left. Bonnie, Orochi, Beige. I say Beige instantly submits as Big Mom was beaten. So Orochi, Bonnie. It's just Orochi and Bonnie. Orochi doesn't want to challenge them as he knows better. So yeah, Bonnie is not going to take lightly to Luffy. So Bonnie is going to be the one to fight Luffy only. So Luffy finds Bonnie, and yeah, they will fight, and Bonnie will lose horribly. And that fight was only 30 minutes, as Luffy wanted to toy with her most of the time. And Luffy will have to kill Bonnie until Bonnie then volunteers to be Luffy's woman. Luffy having more of a sex drive in this one will be appreciative and do some things with Bonnie. Bonnie's pregnant. So yeah. So that's kind of it. That is the finale of the series. So Luffy, actually we're gonna do a time skip as Luffy's 20. We fast forward to when he's 60. Luffy was pronounced the strongest pirate to ever exist and strongest revolutionary to ever exist. I'm gonna pause this to calculate more bounties for myself. So the new Straw Hat bounties. By the time Luffy is 60, he's retired. Luffy has a 15 billion berry bounty. Zoro has 9 billion berry bounty. Sanji has 8.5 billion. Sanji 8.5 billion. Usopp 7.5. Robin 7 billion. Brook 5 billion. Nami 3 billion. Frankie 3.5 billion. Chopper 2.5 billion. Katakuri 7.5 billion. Jinbei 5 billion. Carrot 3.9 billion. Straw Hat crew bounties. So, yeah. Luffy was known as king of the world, and no one could surpass him. That's what he's known as. So yeah. This is the finale of this What If. Finished it finally. And hope you guys enjoyed this finale. Like, subscribe, comment, hate if you want. Like if you hate, if you just comment hate, you're helping spread my video. Sorry for the stutter. You're helping spread my video if you leave hate. Either way, like, comment, subscribe. At least use personalized notifications. Have a good day.